It doesn't look good for vehicle sales in Canada. They're at a 13-year low. Turns out new light-duty vehicle sales in Canada fell in each of the first 3 quarters of 2022, and the story was the same for the fourth quarter. Automakers in Canada managed to sell just 1.5 million vehicles total in Canada in 2022, a drop of 9.1% from the previous year. Rising prices and supply chain disruptions are mostly to blame. Of course they are. Here's some of that breakdown of sales. Despite being down 1.3%, Ford remained the best-selling brand in Canada for the 14th consecutive year. They sold 240,000 vehicles there, while the F-150 was the overall best-selling vehicle in Canada for the 13th year. General Motors and Toyota round out the top 3 with 228,000 and 200,000 vehicles sold. As for Stellantis, they sold 169, basically 170,000 vehicles in 2022. Excluding pickups, the RAV4 was once again the best-selling vehicle in Canada last year. They sold about 56,000 over there. The Corolla sold 33,000 to become the best-selling car in the country, ending Honda Civic's remarkable 24-year reign in Canada. And when it comes to electric vehicles, it's worth noting that the Chevrolet Bolt EV, including the Bolt EUV, had its best year ever with 6,300 vehicles sold, and that's despite coming off a massive recall to replace potentially defective high-voltage batteries. Meanwhile, the Jeep Wrangler 4xe was Canada's best-selling plug-in hybrid in 2022. Toyota saw its best sales year ever for the Tundra in 2022. They sold over 104 trucks, yet Ford crushed them with the F-Series. They sold over 726,000. But there is a silver lining for Toyota. The Tacoma is the best-selling small pickup truck again for 2022. That makes it 18 years in a row. In fact, they sold 237,323 Tacoma trucks. That more than doubles the Tundra. And here's an odd twist about the Tacoma. They sold 15,000 fewer Tacomas in 2022 than they did in 2021, because many are expecting that the Tacoma will have a full makeover, or at least some version of that, for the 2024 model year. Yes, all signs are pointing to a full makeover, or at least some updated version of the current truck. The Tacoma was last all new in 2016. They did have an update in 2021 that added some cool tech like crawl control, but the consensus is, or at least the thought is in the industry, that they'll add probably a hybrid engine like the Tundra, which will add more horsepower, or possibly an electric version of the Tacoma. Regardless of what Toyota does with the Tacoma, it better be good, because their 18-year streak of being the best small truck on the market is in jeopardy. We've got the all-new Colorado, Ford Ranger, and Jeep Gladiator Rubicon having more power and similar off-road trims. On a related note, the Tacoma depreciates less than any other Toyota model in their first 5 years of ownership, based on a study conducted by iSeeCars.com. The study found that the Toyota Tacoma has an average 5-year depreciation rate of just 15%, or $5,900. This is incredible compared to the national average 5-year depreciation rate of 33%. And get this, no other truck is featured on iSeeCar.com's list of vehicles with the lowest 5-year depreciation. We all know about the reputation of Toyota as a whole, but that's great news for the Tacoma. Toyota vehicles usually and generally hold their value the best. The Tacoma is in a league of its own in this category now. The midsize pickup truck provides incredible value for the money once it's purchased, and retains most of that value for an extended period of time. The average Tacoma will retain 85% of its value after 5 years. So if you decide to keep the pickup after 5 years instead of reselling it, the Tacoma can last over 300,000 miles when well maintained. One taco truck has racked up over 1 million miles on its odometer. By the way, if you're interested in a 2023, they start at just under $28,000. It has a 2.7-liter four-cylinder, 159 horsepower, not fantastic at all, and 180 pound-feet of torque. It gets 20 miles per gallon city, 23 on the highway. This headline shocked me. $1,000 a month or higher car payments are distressingly common right now. So the share of new car loans with a monthly payment above $1,000 hit a record high last year, according to Edmunds. The company says 15.7% of buyers who financed a new car in the fourth quarter of last year signed on for a $1,000 monthly payment or more. Are you one of those people? That's up from 10.5% in 2021. Again, 15.7% currently, a nearly 50% increase in the overall share. Supply constraints, inflation put upwards pressure on the prices, while the same inflationary crisis led to much higher interest rates. Consumers attempted to account for rising prices by spending more money up front, bringing the average down payment up to $67.80. Markups, which usually can't be financed as easily as money towards a vehicle's MSRP, likely contributed to that rising average down payment. If you're not too embarrassed to admit, would you mind leaving your monthly payment in the comment section below and the vehicle you're driving with that monthly payment? Here are the latest numbers on the microchip shortage. 2.7 million vehicle cuts are forecast for 2023. That's worldwide. Auto Forecast Solution estimates that more than 2.7 million vehicles will be cut from automakers' production schedules because of the global semiconductor shortage. 2022 finished with nearly 4.4 million production cuts related to the chip shortage. In 2021, more than 10.5 million vehicles were lost. The bulk of cuts so far this year were in Asia, outside China, and the official number breakdown to date so far, we're looking at 24,000 cut in North America, 11,000 in Europe, the rest of Asia, 170,000, so the total 219,000 so far to date, with the projections reaching 2.773. You can see how it breaks down there by region in the projection numbers. Speaking of sales numbers, another year defined by supply chain challenges turned out to be a mixed bag for U.S. automakers. General Motors reclaimed its crown as the top-selling U.S. automaker, while Tesla continued its dominance in the electric vehicle space. Here's a look at some of the key sales races from 2022. Toyota was number one, 1.8 million sales in 2022, down actually 8.8%. Ford next, 1.7, down 2. Chevrolet bumped up by 5.7%. They sold 1.5 million in the U.S. Honda, Hyundai, Kia, Jeep, Nissan, Subaru, and Ram round out the top 10 as top-selling U.S. brands. Chevrolet reclaimed the number 2 spot from Ram, and GMC pushed past Toyota for number 4 when it comes to popular pickup trucks. Here are those numbers. Even though the Ford F-Series was number 1 in the U.S., they were down 10%. There's a Silverado in second place, also down. Ram pickups, boy, big drop at 18%. GMC Sierra and Tacoma. And finishing off here with EVs, Tesla remained far ahead, but Ford more than doubled its EV sales to be number 2. So Tesla, and these are estimates, 491,000 vehicles sold in 2022 in America, followed by Ford at 61,000 and Hyundai Motor Group at 58,000. Again, these are estimates.
Thanks for watching. Please click subscribe and give us a thumbs up. See you next time.